Boom, boom. 31 people already waiting for us to go live. The secret agents are on fire. There we are. We're live. Welcome back, cosmonauts. Welcome, secret agents, and also welcome, cetonauts. So I have another premiere today. I got Guy on the channel. This is the first time that you're on. We had Tor a couple of times here on this channel already from Secret. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk to Guy about the hottest and latest on Secret Network, some of the cool NFT stuff that you're doing, DeFi stuff. Then I also saw about an Axelar partnership, secret agency, which some people might be interested to get involved there. But yeah, first of all, Guy, thanks for being on. How is everything going on your end?
Perfect. Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Apologies a bit about my voice. It's coming back, but I've been a bit sick for the past week. But great to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it then in these circumstances. And everybody that is right now here, I see also Carter is in the house. We also see people that were waiting for us to go live, and there we are. Tell everybody to join this live stream right now. Drop questions. This is supposed to be also interactive. So if you guys have any questions directly to Guy, then you can just drop it in the chat and I will pick it up later. But yeah, speaking of Guy, please share a little bit of your backstory, how you got into, I don't know, like we don't have to go really, really deep in your whole background and everything, but just like what was the kind of like, I don't know, original idea of building Secret, how you got into it, and what are some of the core values that you find important for this whole crypto and privacy space?
Sure. So yeah, I got into crypto, I think fairly early, like 2012, 2013. Around so 2014 I started grad school. Grad school at MIT, and I got like went really deep into blockchain. Then it was mostly Bitcoin, but Ethereum was like in alpha. This is more like 2013, and I got to play around with it a bit. It was very broken, but it was very exciting. And initially, I tried to build. So I was always like a privacy proponent, right? And I care deeply about privacy, and I was like, okay, blockchain is really cool. We have these financial applications. It wasn't DeFi then, but at least like the ability to transfer like tokens from one to another that did exist. But I was like, okay, can we do something that's like non-financial but interesting, right? And I was thinking about, okay, we have this like neutral place on the internet, which is kind of what blockchain is. Blockchain is a trusted compute layer, a place that you can run any computation, that no one's going to be scamming you, cheating you, at least on the blockchain, and so forth. So it's a trusted neutral place, and I really wanted to build some kind of like a reputation system, some kind of a fair login system where every user can like control their own data and so forth. But as I dug deeper into blockchain, I said, okay, it's a great neutral place, but it's so neutral that everyone can see each other's data. Now it's pretty clear to all of us, everything on the blockchain is clear in plain text. You can't hide anything. And in that sense, blockchains are actually even worse than Web 2. Web 2 is not great for privacy either, because there's a small number of companies that hold your data, often leak your data by accident or not, and you don't know how your data is being used. That's not great either, but at least it's not open for everyone. So that was kind of like the first light bulb. And then I spent the next few years doing research on that problem specifically. The research question was, how can we add privacy to a blockchain? And I was curious not just on the most basic layer, which most people, when they hear privacy in blockchain, they think, okay, now I can send money, I can send a transaction from me to you, Michael, anonymously. Other people won't know, like, who sent it, how much, and so forth, which is very useful and important. But I was thinking, how can we take it to the next level? How can we build applications where you can bake privacy into them, even though they're running on the blockchain? And that led to a series of papers, which actually were pretty much at the forefront. They got like a lot of citations, and a lot of people since then have cared about this problem in academia. But then I was more interested of solving this in the real world rather than in academia. And so I went ahead and started the company Secret Labs, which eventually launched Secret Network in 2020, based on Cosmos SDK. And here we are today. We've been running for 2 years, and I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, very, very cool. I want to go back for a second to 2012. I mean, the first kind of like sales pitch for Bitcoin back then was to have an anonymous way to transfer value on the internet, right? Like I think that was like one of the earliest ideas, and obviously Silk Road had a massive use case for it with this black market place that they were building there. Gained massive traction. But then over the years, like this whole privacy aspect, at least from my perception, I joined 5 years later. I joined like early 2017. But in 2017, the whole privacy thing was also like a little bit, getting a little bit more, I don't know, people started to just accept that, Bitcoin is traceable and like Ethereum is public and everything is traceable and you're not really private if you use crypto. And like you say, nowadays, it's crystal clear and, there's also regulation then coming in. So how do you think, from your view, since you've been in the space now for 10 years, how did the importance for privacy or the role of privacy in this crypto industry evolve over the years? And how do you see its importance as of today in 2022?
I want to answer your question on the blockchain aspect, but not just the blockchain aspect. So on the blockchain aspect, I actually think that, look, early days, the community was much, much smaller, right? It was much less mainstream. I can't speak, like obviously Silk Road was a very early use case, but it was also a very specific type of people probably using or mostly using the space. But from then until today, a lot of people, like obviously crypto is almost mainstream. I wouldn't quite say it's mainstream, but it's almost mainstream. And I was actually pleasantly surprised because people always say that people have either accepted that cryptocurrencies are traceable, or people have nothing to hide and they should keep them traceable, even though usual money isn't traceable. But for some reason, crypto should be traceable, and law-abiding citizens don't care about that. Well, I've taken dozens of calls with people who in an unsolicited way, and these are all law-abiding citizens, they are filing their taxes, they are paying their due, but they are like, and many of these people are, by the way, people who are more active in their communities, and they're telling me, either myself or my company, like, we don't want people to see every transaction we're doing. And many of them have said, like, we're using Secret day to day because of that, right? Not to evade taxes, not to do anything criminal, just for the simple way of not doxing ourselves, or for the simple reason of being able to pay our employees without our employees kind of looking at each other's salaries. Privacy is very fundamental and it is very important. And actually, I would say the otherwise, the more mainstream it becomes and the more crypto is being adopted as a fair medium of exchange and payment, more legitimate use cases for financial privacy we'll see, and we are already seeing.
Yeah, in 2018, I was at a crypto conference in Seoul in Korea, and I met Ricardo Spagni from Monero, one of the lead developers there. And I asked him, because back then I also had this impression, privacy is just important for the people that want to buy drugs online. But then I asked him directly, and he told me, very simple, because his answer was like, I think money should just be private, and that's totally fair. I'm like, that makes total sense, for just people that want to have privacy without necessarily, having to do some shady stuff. I think it should at least be an option. And I think also Monero is obviously one of the most famous and popular privacy crypto projects out there. But I think besides that, there's not too much, right? I mean, obviously you guys have a big value proposition, and we can go into some of the niches also that you guys are active in. But how do you see the current privacy space in the crypto industry? Also with Monero, I think you also have some use cases there, right? With Monero specifically, or?
Yeah. So actually, Ricardo, I guess, Ricardo and I were in touch in the very early days, like I think 2014, 2015. He was very excited about what we were doing when it was like on an academic setting. But when we took it more of the, the smart contract angle and that, he was, he basically, I remember he saying at some point, like, I don't believe in smart contracts, which is a big reason why I think you don't see smart contracts in for example, Monero. But it's a big privacy component, and I'm very aligned like with this mode of thinking, right? Like, money should be private. I think money should be selectively auditable, right? This is what like we're doing, right? Like any token can be made private, and you can trade it privately. But if you want to give like a viewing access to your like CPA or to someone else, then you can do it. Which to me is like that's the right balance. But when it comes to privacy in crypto, again, I stay firmly with my original proposition and position from like 8 years ago, that financial privacy is just the first layer. The idea is, and the hope is, that what we're building will become the foundation of the new internet. And in some ways, it's happening faster than we expected, like with DeFi and NFTs. But on other areas, right, like Web2 companies adopting it, it's actually happening slower, I'd say. But I still think that at the end of the road, that's where we're going. Like a big part of this is going to be used in a lot of even legacy systems or newer systems that are going to be built, even by Web2 companies and so forth. And to me, in that like far away vision, it's not just about sending money privately, which is again very important, and I agree with that. But fundamentally, if we don't allow on-chain privacy for data, all kinds of data, then I think that this is going to deter a lot of use cases and a lot of applications and a lot of builders. We don't see it today yet, but we will see it, I think, maybe 5 years down the road. We're starting to see it. We're starting to see it like with NFTs, and that's something that we're doing. We're starting to see it with games. We're starting to see it with some other use cases that are DeFi related that I'm very excited about. But I think we will see it everywhere.
No, that's a perfect transition. And also thanks for summarizing that the difference to Monero and how it's just two completely different things. One is about just having private money or currency that you can transfer, and one is about privacy on a data level. I think those are two very, very different things. And speaking of that, what are some of the verticals? What are some of the ecosystems within Secret that you already see where there's traction being gained, there's real users, right? I think it goes across the board, and there's a very broad application scenario that ranges from DeFi stuff and from NFT stuff. Maybe you can give us a high-level overview of the Secret ecosystem as of today and some of the main verticals where there's exciting use cases that you also find very interesting.
Of course. So, I keep talking about the next phase, like things that come after sending money privately. But as a matter of fact, so today, Secret allows you to basically bridge assets, obviously through IBC from any ecosystem, and we also have bridges from Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and now with the Axelar, we have some legacy bridges, and now with the Axelar partnership, we're going to have all of their bridges as well. Now, why is that exciting? Because Secret is fully CosmWasm compatible, has been for 2 years. We were, I think, the first one, and but with privacy, and that means that you can take any asset over IBC or over Axelar bridge or other. Like you can take Ethereum, you can take Osmosis, you can take JUNO, whatever you want, right? And you can bridge them to Secret, and then you can wrap them into a SNP20 token, which is basically kind of like an ERC20 token or a because it wasn't 20 token. And the point is that once it's in that form, it's completely private. Like you can then transact with it completely privately. And why am I saying that? Because surprisingly or not so surprisingly, we are seeing like I think like about a couple of million of volume a day of these transactions going through the bridges that are not going to one of the other applications, which means that people are actually transferring all kinds of assets from IBC, from EVM chains, from wherever into Secret, because they realize that's a place that allows them to transact and use it privately. So that is already a very, very powerful value proposition. And actually, we are thinking of doubling down on that to an extent to actually make the UI much simpler, because the UI today to do that is crap, and still people use it. So there's obviously some product market fit here. So that's one angle. The other angle discusses private.
I have one question to that. Sorry to interrupt, but one question that's relevant to that before we move on. So just if I'm interested in Secret now, and I buy SCRT and hold it on the Secret network chain, is that already a privacy enabled coin? That's the first question. And the second part of the question, how do I convert that, right? Because I think Secret is the actual privacy enabled coin.
Right.
Where is the place where I can do that? Can I do it directly in a wallet, or do I have to go somewhere? Like, what's the UX? What's the process for that?
So again, UX is not optimal, but although the procedure is pretty much the same. Secret is a regular, normal Cosmos coin. It's not private. That's part of regulatory reasons, but also technical complexity. And so, it's an IBC coin. You need to transfer it into a SNP20 coin, which is secret. You're right. So there's an interface. If you go to wrap.scrt.network, there's an interface that allows you in one click to basically transfer secret to secret. But it also allows you to continue your question, it also allows you to take all or most of the tokens and coins that we can bridge over to Secret. They come in as IBC coins. Now you can actually wrap them into their Secret version. So that's the UX, right? You get a native IBC coin. It could be the native Secret itself, or a native IBC coin that came from Axelar or from somewhere else in the Cosmos ecosystem. That's not private yet, but you can go to wrap.secret.network, click wrap, turn it into the S version of it. So you can have S Secret, S JUNO, S ETH, S WBTC, S USDC, whatever you want, and then they automatically become private, and you can privately transact with them. If you want to exit right back, then you can always unwrap them and then move back to whatever network you want to do, or you want to use them in applications. So all of that is possible.
But there is also already a secondary market for these secret assets, right? For these assets. So there's a secret swap, and there's a couple of dexes. What are some of the cool things that you can do with your wrapped assets? And by the way, I also just dropped the link here. So all the 52 people that are listening right now, you can play around with the wrap.scrt.network link and go back and forth between the assets. But yeah, just a side note. So yeah, to that question about the use cases for assets.
Right. So the obvious use case is you can go to an AMM and you can transfer them to some other asset, right? That's where you start from in DeFi. So let's start with that. So you can go to either Secret Swap or Sienna Swap. A small note here, and that's a bit about the future. There's in about a couple of months there will be, I think, much better AMMs that are going to be released on Secret. One of them is coming from the Shade team, which is very famous in the Cosmos ecosystem. The other is coming from a smaller but highly capable team called Polymer. And there may be even another one like Hydro and a couple more that are coming in the next 2 to 3 months. But right now, even if you go to these two AMMs, the cool part is that because it uses SNP20s, and because actually all of everything that you do in Secret, all the transaction inputs, when a user sends a function call, a method call in a contract, like an AMM, the inputs are encrypted. And the point is that because the inputs are encrypted, that this makes, by default, like the developer doesn't have to do anything. By default, any AMM or even a lending platform, let's talk about an AMM first. Any AMM that launches on secret network is front running resistant by default, which is pretty amazing already, right? So that's, if you trade them on these platforms, then that's like the one thing that you get. The other thing that you get is that you get some notion of privacy. Now, why am I saying some notion of privacy? I don't want to get too technical, but there was a design choice in these AMMs. And that design choice was what kind of slippage do you want to give people, right? So people trade in the AMM. If you give them like the best price possible, which is how all AMMs work, then if you're a smart attacker, you can probably infer and leak some information about who traded and how much they traded. So you get some privacy, but it's not full. However, if you use an AMM on secret and you really want to maintain your privacy, just use an AMM on secret. Then whatever asset you transfer to, you can always transfer that privately, because it's an S asset, to a different wallet. And the point being that you can, if you're like, you want maximum privacy, you want some notion of privacy that's better than anywhere else, you already get it with those AMMs. You want maximum privacy, just take whatever you swapped into, send it privately to a new wallet. No one sees that transaction, like no one sees those details. And then whenever you want, like you can, you can unwrap, you can get outside of secret, and you can still maintain your privacy. But those UX quirks are some of the stuff that we're working on and actually want to improve, but you can already get that today.
Yeah, that's really cool. No, I think it really needs to be, like you're saying, UX is a big component that will probably ramp up a bunch more users if this process is just very straightforward and very simple. But I think, since you guys are also focusing on that and you have the product market fit, I think it's just a matter of time until that this is being fixed. And it's just, I think, a next logical step for you guys to focus on that. We also got Tor in here, cool guy, cool head. I also had really good conversation with Tor. He was on my channel twice. We talked about a lot of different use cases, a lot of different niches, also a lot about NFTs. And yeah, check that out. And also you just mentioned Shade Protocol. I also had Cadre on already 5 months ago. So it's also time for an update with him. But yeah, also a very good interview for everybody who wants to check that out. But yeah, let's go back to the verticals. We talked a little bit about this privacy feature, obviously, and how to get in there. You also mentioned a bit about DeFi. What are some of the other ecosystems and verticals within Secret?
Right. So beyond like private transactions and DeFi, there are a lot of other verticals. So one of them that I'm excited about, and a lot of people are excited about, are secret NFTs, of course. Secret NFTs, the idea is very simple, right? Like any NFT today that you own on any other chain, on any other place, everyone can right-click, save, copy your data, right? It says that you own it, but it points to a data that is public and everyone can get access to it. So in our opinion, this is very limited. And obviously, if blockchain didn't have that quirk that data cannot be private, then NFTs would have been built differently. You would have had public metadata, stuff that you can show everyone, and you would have had private metadata, stuff that only you as the owner can see. And that's exactly what we did with secret NFTs. They have both. So they can have, public metadata, like your PFP, which you can show off, but then they can have private metadata, which is encrypted and only you can actually see it, and it's unique to you. And we've done a lot. Actually, before I get to what we've done there, I do think that eventually, and this is part of like the secret philosophy, and also why we're in Cosmos to begin with. I don't think all NFTs need to be on secret. I don't think all assets need to be on secret. I don't think all projects need to be on secret. What I do think is that eventually every project out there, whether in Cosmos or outside of it, could benefit from privacy features. And if I have to envision the end game for secret, is that there's like privacy as a service, right? So even if you have your NFTs on Stargaze or Ethereum or Solana, you can still kind of like take the benefit of having private metadata, even if your NFT is hosted there. And that's actually also part of like what we're kind of contemplating on how to do that with Axelar, but that's like another angle. But back to the secret NFT points, like one thing I was very excited about is what we just did with Kevin Smith. For those who don't know, basically Kevin Smith directed a new movie that was never released before. And he said, okay, let's not release it in the movie theaters. Let's not release it on a cable network or on a streaming service. Let's release it on the blockchain. And then they use the capabilities of secret network and secret NFTs essentially to encrypt the movie. For anyone who bought the NFT had an access key to the encrypted movie, right? And only if you bought the NFT could you actually get from the private metadata the decryption key for the movie and actually watch it. And we've actually done some amazing stuff to make it work and make it work very seamlessly. I was actually extremely surprised at the level of the execution that the team was able to get. I didn't think it's going to run so smoothly, so that was amazing. And it's really cool. It's like the first movie that's ever been released completely on chain. And that kind of opens your mind about what you can do. You can start thinking about things like a decentralized Netflix or a crowdfunding platform for artists, for movies and music and all that, and also like a decentralized Spotify. Like the sky is the limit about what you can do with this, and this is something I'm super excited about.
Yeah, this is really cool. KillRoy was here with the director Kevin Smith. There's a bunch of content also. I think you also had spaces with him. There's also, I think, a YouTube live stream that JUNO was arranging. I'm just wondering, like, how? I mean, you had Quentin Tarantino NFTs as well, right? Like, how do you get these big guys? Like, those are like big guys with millions of followers. Like, how do you get in touch with them?
Good question. I think once you get the first one, which was Quentin Tarantino, you kind of helps you out. Quentin Tarantino spends a lot of time in Israel. Sorry, I think I'm breaking up. Maybe. Am I okay?
You were breaking out for 5 seconds, but you're back now.
Okay, so Quentin Tarantino spends a lot of time in Israel with, let's say, a mutual friend who introduced us. He actually came to the Secret Labs office. It was kind of cool and kind of like a small party. He's extremely smart, right? Like extremely smart, very skeptical of NFTs, but he got hooked into the idea of secret NFTs. He liked the idea that only the owner can actually get to see whatever he's selling, and he said, okay, and he said, okay, let's play with this like secret angle, right? Like I never showed anyone the original Pulp Fiction screenplay. Let's put that as the NFT, and whoever buys it is the only person to actually see that. So that actually completely flipped his opinion on NFTs. This idea of secret NFTs, and that was like our first in. And then it was easier to get Kevin Smith on board, and there are actually other people that, let's say, the same caliber that we're talking about. I actually think that the whole idea of secret NFTs is a good hook. It gets people interested because we always find a use case that speaks to those artists, and these are famous artists. But again, once you get the first one and you get an interest in technology that is different from all the NFT pitches that they hear, and they all hear a lot of them, then that makes it much easier to onboard them.
First thing, I need to get into your friend circle. That's the first thing. Second thing, like you say, I think you guys have a very different sales pitch because these, like all other NFT platforms and NFT projects, they try to convince everybody, on the same thing. Like, oh yeah, you can have, we have this artist already on board. You can do this, and we have much more features and this and that. But like, you come from a totally different angle, right? Which is privacy, and no one else out there can even come up with that sales pitch because nobody has it. So, who is the next big one? Who's the next one? We got Tarantino. We got Kevin Smith. What's the next big deal?
Good question. Good question. I really want to drop that kind of alpha right now, but I can't right now.
So there is somebody in the pipeline.
I can, let's say, I can neither confirm or deny, but you get the idea.
All right, you get the idea. Yes. Do you think this would be ready, because you guys are also coming to Cosmoverse? Do you think this is something that could unfold around September, or?
I'd be very honest. It could technically, from a technical perspective, yes. Whether the market is like that's the best timing or not, like we're still kind of internally debating. So TBD, I guess. Man, but if it is ready for Cosmosverse, then that would be the place to do it. I 100% agree.
No, I think Cosmos is in a bull run right now. I think Atom just went up to $11. Like I think we're and Secret
back to bull.
Yeah, Secret also just went up 30%. So I think the bulls are back. So we're ready.
Good.
Okay, so let's get back to another very interesting thing that you all already mentioned a little bit, which is the Axelar partnership. I have not, to be honest, I have not like read any like in-depth article about this, or have not had this on my screen. So tell us a little bit what Axelar's integration means for you guys, and what additional use cases that might unlock.
So honestly, we just touched like 2 or 3 main verticals, but there are a lot more, and we don't need to go into them. But the point is that our vision was always to be like privacy as a service cross-chain, right? We want to enable that. And IBC, with IBC and interchain accounts, and that's coming to our network, I think September, that's going to be available within Cosmos, which is great. That's our bread and butter. That's the first place we want to support. But with Axelar, that makes it much easier to support this idea of externalizing Secret's privacy features to other chains that are not part of the Cosmos ecosystem. And that's what excites me. One very simple idea is, secret NFTs. Imagine you can launch an NFT collection on OpenSea or Solana, but then just like do reveal like hidden content, but that hidden content actually goes through Axelar under the hood and does it through Secret and reveals that to you, right? Like that's very exciting. Or imagine that you launch there's a project that launched a secret NFT, like even Kevin Smith, right? He launched on secret NFT. He's on Secret, and then right now it's going to be sold on Stash, which is a great marketplace. But maybe some people would want to take it outside to OpenSea or to a marketplace on Solana to get more liquidity. So we kind of want to get that. But if you get more generic, if you generalize more, then to me the exciting part with Axelar is the idea that you can call any contract on another blockchain. Again, it's not IBC because for that we have a solution, and compose it with a contract on Secret network. And that means that whatever use case a contract developer has that requires privacy, they can just route that through Secret, get the result to their contract and do it. For example, you want to do safe auctions, right? You want to do an auction, but the auction contract that you have is on Ethereum, but you want to do second highest bidder auction, which requires privacy, for example. So you route that request through Axelar to Secret and back to Ethereum, right? You want to do, you want to build a fair poker game. With the actual hands, like what cards this person have, that is routed through a Secret network. So you can do all these kind of things and externalize privacy services to other chains very smoothly, very easily.
Yeah, I really like this privacy as a service. I think that's a perfect on-point pitch for Secret. And yeah, like you say, I think we could talk so much about all these different verticals and all these use cases. I also see these like Secret network ecosystem maps, and there's like hundreds of dApps, hundreds of NFT projects. Yeah, it's just a lot going on. And I guess you guys from Secret Labs and the core team, you are, I guess, primarily focused on just making the technology better and also pushing and onboarding some projects, right? So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And also another thing that I saw which JUNO has also done a couple of weeks ago, is that you also established a dev fund, especially also for Terra developers or ex-Terra developers. So what does that mean for the secret ecosystem? And how can any developer that is interested bootstrap their project on Secret? What would be the first step for them?
So yeah, I mean, this is a great initiative, similar to JUNO, a great initiative by just our chain. There was a proposal that we put out to essentially gather around 2 million secret into a Terra Builders Dev Fund. And what that means is that anyone who was either building, there are several like categories. Either you were building on Terra, either you built on Terra and you had something on Terra, or you are building on Terra, even if you didn't deploy, or actually, Terra and Secret, it's all part of Cosmos. We're pretty close, and there are some projects on Secret that had their funds on Terra, like example Anchor. And so if you're already building on Secret, but you are affected by the Terra collapse, then you can also apply. So any project who's been building in some form or another and had like a Terra connection can essentially apply to that fund. There's a Terra Builders fund link on our GitHub where you can basically submit a proposal. You can also, just to make things simpler, like if you're not sure where to go, DM me on Twitter. I'm under like Guyzys, GUYZYS. DM me on Twitter. I'll forward you to the right person. And we have a lot of teams like talking to us right now and basically asking a grant from that fund. So that's a great opportunity for Terra projects, whether they want to completely move to Secret or cross-deploy into Secret, because a lot of the projects right now are basically cross-deploying into the Cosmos ecosystem, which is wonderful. That's the way to go.
Very nice. Yeah, I also just dropped your Twitter here in the live chat, so people can follow you and ask you further questions. Yeah, that's really cool. And that was also just announced like 2-3 weeks ago, right? That's the Terra Dev Fund. That's pretty recent, right? So
it's very new.
Yeah. And do you already have like any like requests or any project that is looking to migrate and make use of that? Or is it for now just like smaller projects that might or might not want to build on Secret? Or
we have I think 5 to 10, let's say, projects that are like either asked for like a grant or like this is like in more advanced stages. And then we have like I'd say another like maybe 24 projects that we're talking to, and that's like less like a bit less like mature, right? But like 5 to 10 of them are like in a pretty advanced stage. One of them has been approved. I expect like 1 to 2 more to be approved next week. The one that was approved is a Fina wallet. So they're doing, I think, a special mobile/DeFi wallet, and they're going to support some privacy features from Secret. But there are, I think we'll get at least a couple more like next week that are already like at the final stages.
Nice. So yeah, everybody that's a developer ex-Terra, check that out. And for everybody that's more from the community, or just a retail person that likes Secret and wants to contribute a little bit more, you guys also just relaunched or revamped the Secret Agents program, right? And personally, I'm not too familiar with it, so maybe you can share a little bit what this is about and how people can get started there.
Sure. So Secret Agents is, Secret Agents are our version of Cosmo now, Osmo now, JUNO, like the same kind of idea. It's a play on the brand. It's been there for a while. I think what we've had, sorry, to be very fair, I'm less like in the weeds of the Agents program, but what happened with the agent, what we had with the Agents program was very effective in some ways, but less effective in other ways. So we had, I think, over 20,000 active agents, which is an amazing number. But it became like something that was very, very hard to manage. very hard to keep engaging and engaged. The upside of it was that there were a lot of the people who are now building on our ecosystem, and a lot of the people who are actually became like long-term community members who contribute a lot of stuff like content, or became validators, or became like community mods, I call that. They came from the agents program. So in that, it's been extremely effective, but it's very, very hard to actively manage 20,000 people without getting churn and all that. So the new agents program is, I think, meant to be a bit more exclusive, a bit more closer touch with the network leads, you know, whether it's Tor or people from Secret Labs or other people from the foundation, and people from the community who are not from the foundation, like Brandon and Skrilla, who are two longtime community members. So it's meant to be a bit more intimate and a bit more exclusive, I guess, to kind of better give proper attention to anyone that's in the program. And that's been revamped and relaunched. The best place to learn about that is to go to Secret Network website, so scrt.network/agents, and that's like your access portal to get into that.
Yeah, I also dropped the link here to see and learn more about secret agents and the program. But yeah, that's very cool. And yeah, as we're already like at 42 minutes. It's crazy how fast the time is going. Guys, drop your questions. I've seen some good questions already, but drop more as we get closer to the AMA part of this stream. But before we get there, share us a little bit on the I would say, I don't know, end of year roadmap. What's coming in the next 3 to 6 months. Also talk a little bit about more like immediate things, like I think these KillRoy NFTs are coming very soon, and Cosmoverse, and anything that comes to your mind. What is the end of year roadmap?
Wow, there's a lot. So KillRoy is not coming soon. It's actually here. So if you go to KillRoy.washere.io, you can actually mint the NFT, get a lot of benefits. Each NFT holds the movie, and those are the only people who get access to the movie. And plus, each NFT has other private metadata. So each NFT has like unique private metadata. It has the script that's for everyone, but it has a different exclusive piece that wasn't in the movie, that's been edited in a very nice way into like an interactive comics. So you get that. So that's available. But then let's look a bit forward. There's a lot of things that are being built by the community. Like Shade is gonna launch, Polymer, other AMMs, Legend DAO, I think we'll see more towards like Q4, even though like it's pretty much ready, but we're kind of like holding off on when to release it, which is an NFT launchpad. There are a couple of wallets like Starshell, now Fina wallet, and I think others that are gonna launch, and they're gonna have like specific, like I think they're gonna have mobile support plus specific use cases for Secret. And there's a ton of other dApps that are either being built or going to be released, like Alter making improvements, Jackal are releasing their solution, Domirium Labs with the Urban Wars game, which is really cool, tower defense game, Bushi, which are going to release their alpha game. Bushi is amazing. So if you don't know, go and take a look. I think it's like maybe the best like graphics like wise like game in Cosmos in general. Essentially, it's a first-person shooter, highly interactive, and first version of the game, alpha, not production, will be released by end of year. That's highlights from the community. From our angle as Secret Labs, core development wise, we're gonna have between 1 to 2 upgrades, network upgrades by the end of the year. So September, we're gonna have Cosmos and V1. That was a lot of work to support all the privacy features, but that's done. It's in testnet, about to come. Then we're probably going to have about 20 to 25x improvement in terms of contract execution speed. So we're completely revamping the backend. and that's gonna speed the hell out of like what you can do with and on secret, even in bull market settings. Then there's like I'd say there's like between like about like a year of like immediate roadmap of like really deep technical improvements that we're gonna do, but we don't have to get into these now. That's on the infrastructure side. Then on the app layer side, what we are starting to look at in Secret Labs is what can we actually do to improve UX, not both in Secret, but also outside of Secret. So one example is we see a lot of product market fit with, I guess, mixers or the ability to send money privately and transact money privately. As we discussed before, how can we improve that user experience? We're looking into how can we leverage, and I won't get into that, that's very preliminary, but how can we leverage Secret's capabilities? So Secret can actually be a sort of like a key management solution or a partial key management solution, because the network itself can hold secret, including private keys or parts of private keys. Why is that interesting? Because now you can actually think about how you can improve the user experience with crypto. How can people who don't know crypto, don't have a wallet, can actually access NFTs, access crypto applications in a more Web 2 way without actually dealing with the underlying wallets and all that? Secret can really help them. And that's something that we're kind of like looking more deeply into. And then the completely other aspect is, and that's work that I'm actually spearheading mostly, we're starting to do more in-depth research. So for those who don't know, Secret relies on trusted execution environments, which are still, despite what everyone would say, best-in-class solution that we have today for general purpose, like private computation, private smart contracts. But there are places where you can kind of think about other technologies and how they can kind of like intertwine and integrate things like zero knowledge proofs, things like partial homomorphic encryption or full homomorphic encryption. And I'm actually starting to look more into research of that. I don't think these are things that are like coming next year, but maybe in 2 years, we'll actually start to see them like in production to some extent.
A lot is coming. A lot is coming. I'm very excited, and yeah, I hope all secret agents are excited about what's coming. Also, in the whole ecosystem, there's so many applications. I don't know. Do you even like know about everything? I think at some point you're like, it's so big already. It's growing so fast. Like, how do you manage to even like keep an overview of everything?
I don't. I always fuck that up, to be honest. Like every time I'm like, I come on something like this, and I talk about the application, people are like, why didn't you mention this and that? And it's always an honest mistake. I can't keep up with everything, which is amazing, but I can't.
And that's just within Secret, right? And then Secret is a big component of Cosmos, but then within Cosmos, right? Like there's 50 IBC connected chains right now, and probably by the end of the year we will hit the 3 digits, and then it's gonna 10x from there, and it's just a massive ecosystem that's like in the works right now. And yeah, also glad to see that during turbulent times like now with macroeconomics here and Tesla selling their Bitcoin there and like all this stuff coming together, you guys are still building, right? You're probably building more than ever, at least from how it feels from the outside. But yeah, that's the projects that you want to do your proper research on and potentially also get involved. But yeah, really cool stuff. Let's get into some of the community questions and then we can wrap it up. Kalechi has a question about Secret's plans for L2 scaling. Bless you.
Oh, that's yeah. Sorry, still recovering, as I said.
No worries.
That's a very interesting question. We have a trick up our sleeve actually, of kind of like combining L2 scaling with L1 scaling. So, because we're using trusted execution environments, you already get like a lot of correctness guarantees and privacy guarantees. I won't get into that. So you actually don't have to have consensus on everything. You should have consensus on the important stuff. But if you have like more like let's say, heavy computations, which you want to already put in layer 2 or do that, we're actually thinking of having some way where users can directly interact with validators of their choice to run longer computations and then commit those to chains. And because they're running in enclaves, you get like a lot of, like, you can actually already, for the most part, like know that they were run correctly, no one cheated, all of that. So that's like one angle that we're looking into that only Secret can do and can probably very quickly ramp up layer 2 scaling, not just in Secret, but in Cosmos in general. So that's one direction. The other direction is obviously we're thinking of off-chain kind of computations, like things like, because we still care about privacy aspects, so maybe like small scale, multi-party computation, FHE, all that, combine that with zero knowledge proofs or optimistic fraud proofs, which is basically optimistic rollups or zero knowledge rollups. So we're looking into those. Those are still very preliminary, very research-like, and we are also talking to the other, like, you know, other ecosystem players that are building this and looking into this, so maybe we can partner with them, because we don't want to build all of them. But we are very actively looking into this, and we think that, I don't think this is something that's needed tomorrow, but I think that maybe in 2 years, that's something that's going to be needed, and we'll be like, we are looking at this now, so it's ready in like 2 years.
There we go. There we go. Lafi has a question about your views on governments and central banks. I don't think they will be privacy crypto friendly. What is your take on that?
I think that's actually where Secret is kind of better than most other privacy solutions, because like you can have programmable privacy and selective privacy, right? Like I may put a lot of, you know, my own like personal belongings in a secret or secret USDC or secret whatever IBC coin that I hold. But at the end of the day, I go to my, you know, tax advisor, and I give them the viewing key, and they get to see everything and prepare my taxes. I do think there's a balance here. Actually, we are in touch in one government at least with their AML department, no less, actually thinking about how can you actually balance compliance regulation with privacy. So yes, you know, many banks, many governments are skeptical at first, but I think over time with proper education, you can actually show them that these tools are beneficial.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's not a question, but Nu is talking about the Shinobi dApp, and if I recall correctly, I don't know if I recall correctly, isn't that the Bitcoin on ramp?
Yeah, so it's a Bitcoin on ramp. Yeah, so by the way, there's already like a Monero, I forgot to mention, I'm talking about Monero. There's already a Monero bridge to Secret, which is cool, because now people in Monero, even if Fluffy Pony doesn't like smart contracts, these people in Monero can still can move from a private asset to private DeFi in some way, so that's cool. There's also a Bitcoin bridge coming called Shinobi, which I think what Shinobi are doing is very technically impressive. I won't get into the details. I actually don't know the full details, but from what I've seen and know, they are extremely capable. Like, this is one of like the best produced bridges out there, and it has two benefits. A, you can now bridge Bitcoin to Secret and then to Cosmos. Now I know there's like another solution doing that, but in Secret you can now turn that Bitcoin into private Bitcoin and then transact with it privately and use private DeFi, which is cool.
Yeah, very cool. Let's do two more questions. Lee Herfel has a question. With Axelar plus Secret Network, composability is not lost?
No, it shouldn't be lost. The idea is to build it in a way that it's not lost. I'm not saying we solved all the kinks there. This is a work in progress with the Axelar team and our team, but composability is extremely important, critical.
Then final question. Does Secret plan to have its own mobile or web wallet?
Yes, 100%. Actually, we're a big supporter of Starshell, which is let's say going to be, I think, an IBC wallet for all Cosmos. but it's gonna kind of be like secret first and take like all of the cool features that you can get in secret, both for web and I believe mobile. Very early on, we are looking into 2 to 3 other wallets that are supporting mobile. I mentioned one of them that received the grant, which is Fina wallet, but there are 2 others that we're looking into as well as supporting them with funding. And then this is not official, this is very early. We are also looking into building like mobile capabilities and wallet capabilities, or maybe it could be add-ons. Like I don't think we want to build our own wallet, but maybe we support one of these wallets, or maybe we even contribute code to Kepler itself. But the idea is that even at Secret Labs, like mobile has become such a high priority for us that we are, as a core team, looking into kind of reducing the time spent between that to production. And also, I think Cosmos Station already supports Secret Mobile to an extent, and they want to like increase their support into more like things like private tokens on secret tokens on Secret, and maybe secret NFTs. So there's a lot being done on the wallet aspect here.
Yeah. Just curious, what's the how many developers do you guys currently have like that are predominantly working on like the secret infrastructure as you talk about wallets and all these things and scaling and interoperability?
Yeah, so again, a lot of these are like from external teams and teams we support with funding. Secret Labs is like as a core development team, we have about 10 core developers and people like on the technical side that are actively building all day. We actually doubled that from like a few months ago. We had like 5 and now we have like 10. So that's the core, the in-house team. And then we, at any given point in time, we personally employ like 2 to 3 outsourced teams of about like 20 more developers, but they usually work on like the periphery, right? They work maybe on contracts, they work on UX, UI, front end, back end, so that our developers can focus on the more heavy lifting stuff.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. I really enjoyed this conversation, learned a lot. I hope everybody in the chat also learned a lot. And yeah, I don't know, do you have any final thing to share? Any big alpha leak? Just drop the name of that person that you said, the celebrity.
I wish I could. I really wish I could, but I can't. And but we're talking to a few people, not just one person. But yeah, there's one I would like to share, but I can't, unfortunately. Alpha League. The Alpha League is honestly that I think that come September, just in time for Cosmoverse, there's going to be a lot happening on Secret that isn't now. It's like kind of converging to a point where several DeFi apps are launching, several other applications are launching, much better infrastructure in the network upgrade. So it's like everything's just going to be like easier, faster, more usable. And there's also one secret project, very secret project that we've been working on, which I think is very important, not just for Secret, but the ecosystem. I won't share the name yet, sorry, but I will say, and actually, I also want to be very open that it might not come to pass, but we'll know within a month if it comes to pass or not. And if it is, I think that's going to make waves in the entire Cosmos ecosystem. So
can you share like what it is about, like roughly, like what the potential use case could be?
It may or may not relate to stable coins.
Okay, all right. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the alpha, and looking forward to meet you and Tor. I think you both are coming and presenting on stage at Cosmoverse, which is already happening in 2 months and 1 week, which is crazy to think of. We still have a lot to do. I know you guys still have a lot that's coming that you're working on. So really appreciate that. And all the links are in this live chat, and I'll drop them also under the video later. Thank you for coming on, and I guess we'll keep in touch and look forward to meeting you.
Yes, look forward to meeting in person. And Michael, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. Take care, and thanks everybody also for your questions and for being here. We're out. Take care.